use the equation f of s equals 8s plus 15 to evaluate the function at each value. Okay, so like A says f of 7. 7 has replaced what letter? S. So that means in the equation, you're going to replace that s with a 7. And then you just evaluate it. 8 times 7 is 56. 56 plus 15 is 71. Okay, that's it. So, what? No, that's it. Yeah. B is f of 100. That means replace the s in this equation with a 100. So 8 times 100 plus 15 is 815. Okay, so C, we're replacing s this time with what? 11. And that becomes 88 plus 15, which is 103. Okay, you go ahead and quickly try D and E. I didn't get a response. I'm checking the original emails to see like what they said.
Even the teachers in the trailer?
Yeah.
So Miss B playing. You know who
Like
that
Mr.
is?
Rich is gonna make it.
Miss B. That Miss B.
Yeah, I mean, some of the teachers probably aren't participating, but that doesn't mean they can't get kidnapped, but they just don't care. You know what I mean? What'd you get for f of 0?
15.
Right, and what'd you get for f of 2.5?
35.
35? 35? Okay. All right. Now down here is a little bit different because this time, and really this is a little messed up because this whole thing has been about f of s, and now all of a sudden they put f of x. But really all three of those should be s's. So now, yes, f of s equals 55. Did they give you a number to plug in for s? No, s is still itself, so you still leave the 8s plus 15. But they let you know that it equals 55. So we're trying to do the opposite. We're trying to solve for the s. So how would I do that? So we get 40 equals 8s. So divide by 8, divide by 8. S equals 5. Okay, so why don't you try B and C? Okay, try B and C. Okay, for this one, 175 is what it's equal to, so then you just write 8s plus 15. Then you would have had to have subtracted 15. It's going to take us longer than expected if there's this much talking.
160 divided by 8.
So s equals 20. Okay, for C, you should have set the equation 8s plus 15 equal to 151. Now to solve for s, what do you do?
Minus 15.
Okay,
136.
and then you divide by 8 and you get
And you get 17.
17. Okay, now turn to the next page. Pay attention, guys. On the next page, you'll notice that you have three different functions. You have a f of x function, g of x, and h of x. So when you're doing these 6 problems, you have to pay attention to which function they're wanting you to plug into. Like in number 1, they're wanting you to replace the x in which function?
Number 1.
Right, look, f of 2. That means you use this function, 3x minus 8, and you replace it with the 2. Had it said g of 2, you would have been plugging the 2 into the g function. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to the bottom. The bottom is a little different. Okay, so I need everybody paying attention because these are different. F of I. What is the f function?
A plus
3x minus 8, right?
Oh yeah, 3x.
So, but they're letting you know that instead of x, they want you to replace it with a I. So that becomes 3i minus 8. Can you combine those terms?
Oh, look at that.
9, one doesn't. Can any of them be simplified? No. So that one's done. Okay, but when you move on to something like g, what does the g function look like? X squared plus 2, but they've told you to replace the x with a I, so doesn't that become I squared? And what does I squared equal? And then when you add that to 2, you get a positive 1. Okay, I want you to be working on this worksheet by yourself, and I'm going to be calling you up for the quiz, and then I'll go over any of them you want to go over, because some of them get a little bit tricky, but if you use the rules we've learned, you should be able to do them. Okay, h of I. What does the h function look like? 10 minus 2x. So you would write 10 minus 2, but instead of the x, you're going to replace it with I. So that just becomes 10 minus 2i. You can't combine those, you can't simplify, you're done. Now let's look at number 10. F of I squared. What does the f function look like? Okay, but they've told you instead of x to replace it with an I squared. Well, what do we know about I squared? So isn't this basically a 3 times negative 1 minus 8? What is 3 times negative 1? So here we go. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, minus 8, negative 3 minus 8 is negative 11. Did y'all get that? Yes, ma'am.